Hello, Vladimir Putin here. You either pay in ruble, use our banks, or I turn off gas. You have until April 1st. April 1st is here. What do you say? No? Ha! Alright, here we go. April Fools! Ah! Ay, 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 ay. April Fools. Hello, and welcome to the Collapse Experiment. The kiddos are home, the TV is on, so I am filming out in the car. It is well below 30. We got snow again, and it's sticking around this time. So, it's April 1st, April Fools. Let's hope Putin, in picking that date for turning off European gas, was planning the ultimate April Fool's joke. But he doesn't seem like a very funny guy. He doesn't seem like the comedian type. So highly doubt that. I think there's some Europeans that, if their world is looking like this right now, that are gonna have to be bundling up, chopping down some trees, or finding alternative heat sources, because things are about to get really chilly over there. So this comes after a couple of things. Well, for one, the news really isn't covering it, but the ruble, the Russian currency, is now backed by gold. It has completely rebounded from when it dropped its value a few weeks ago after we tried doing some sanctions on them. Doesn't seem to be going over too well. It's almost like they're trying to prop up the ruble because, let's see here. McDonald's is gone. They're back on the gold standard. I believe there's like a bunch of social media that's no longer available. It's it's kind of sounding nice over there. Obesity would be down. People wouldn't be on their phones as much. Actual interactions amongst people. A lot of drinking. There's probably a lot of drinking going on. Do you remember when people used to go out drinking? So Putin came out and said that unless you are using Russian banks, their currency, and were non-hostile to them, meaning offering aid or arms to Ukraine, then unless you're doing those things, he was no longer selling you natural gas. So, wow, and considering how NATO's been lately, shit's getting turned off. I'm still not buying the news stories that the Russian fighter jets that went into Sweden's airspace were armed with nukes. The initial reports came out and said that they were not armed. They were intercepted by Swedish jets and escorted out of the airspace. And it took them a month to realize, hey, those things on the bottom, I think those were nukes. Yeah, that's weird. This isn't the kind of delayed reaction that you would want from your military intelligence. Just saying. Like, Russia decides that they're gonna, I don't know, send a cruiser over to the East Coast and just sit offshore a couple miles and aim some things. And then they decide to turn around and go away. I don't want to hear a month later, we think those might have been nuclear tipped rockets. I know we said that they were this, but now that we're getting a better look at it, I think we kind of screwed up. So, looks like the federal government and the military is looking at possibly doing a draft. After all, we don't exactly have the standing army to counter Russia when we get involved. I'm not even going to say if, I'm going to say when. Biden's already telling people, like, you're going into Ukraine, and then he tries to backtrack it. The White House tries to correct him, but it's like all the actions that are happening right now all the military contracts that are getting signed. The same companies who organized and put together the Green Zone in Iraq is they're getting contracts and they're shipping stuff over to Poland. It's not like we're setting up new military bases in Poland. This is like moving people in for an operation that's going to be sustained for a long time. So, yeah, I'm just going to put this out there. We're at war with Russia. That's pretty obvious, regardless of whether they want to say it or not. They're preparing for more war with Russia, and the contracts that are being signed, the stuff that's being sent in, the people who are already getting their activated status in the military. There's several stories out there of people getting the phone call and then they have to tell their employer, sorry, gotta go. And it's like, let's see here, we're kind of sort of in Iraq still with that the one embassy that's bigger than the Vatican. So we're still kind of in Iraq, but nothing's really happening there at the moment. We're not in Afghanistan anymore. Don't hear about that anymore. I wonder how many public beheadings and executions are still going on that we're just, it's their country. It's fine. You know, they're just doing it to themselves. I mean, isn't that how Whoopi Goldberg would look at it? Well, that's different. It's brown people killing brown people. As long as they're oppressing themselves, it's fine. So I have some major issues when it comes to this draft because you can fill out paperwork in order to get out of it, whether it's like some moral dilemma, if you're the head of the household and everybody depends on you, if you're the only son of the family, if there's exemptions, and I'm sure a lot of those exemptions are going to go bye-bye because, yeah, when they start getting these green-haired soy boy, I dress in a skirt, physical fitness really isn't my thing, motherfuckers, when those people start showing up at the center and they have to start doing physicals, either they're going to have to downgrade and just start accepting anybody. and we're literally talking about anybody. It's either going to be that or they're going to have to expand to a whole lot of other places where guys like me who are in their 40s know how to shoot a gun, relatively healthy. I mean, it's not like I work out every day, but you know, they're going to start just accepting anybody who would show up. And that's the other thing with these other guys, they're going to be like crying in their bed going, I don't want to go. Where's my stimulus check? Is Starbucks open? So overall, things are not going well. Things are not looking good. Even the Army came out and said that their numbers are depleted. They can't seem to get any new recruits. I guess all the people with two moms just don't want to volunteer. I don't know why that would be. You know, if they, I think if they just changed their ads, maybe if they were like, hey, you want to defeat fascism, right? Hey, you want equality, right? And then like do like some weird army thing of like beating the crap out of actual, like actually take like historic footage of G.I. Joe beating the shit out of Nazis or commies for that matter. And oh wait, no, because then they'd be fighting themselves. Shit. It's weird because Ukraine actually has units that are made up of real Nazis. Like they actually believe the Nazi agenda from the 1930s and 40s. And I don't see Antifa signing up to go to war. Huh. Here's an idea. Maybe at the recruiting office, you have a sign that says, sign up now, get a free bike lock, and then have like these mannequin practice targets that look like Andy No. And then all of a sudden Antifa shows up and they're like, this is awesome. And they sign the paper and they get their bike lock. And next thing you know, they're getting thrown into a bus and they're getting taken to a camp where they have a drill sergeant that teaches them what real discipline and honor looks like. And they all crumble and cry like whiny bitches. I guess that's not going to work either. No, really, I don't know what the hell the federal government expects at this point, because they have literally propped up the people who hate them. While they try to say, like, we stand with you, we understand. And no, these are people who marched through the streets. They created what? Over $2 billion worth of damage and arson, killed people, all for the sake of America is racist. We hate this place, but we're not willing to move anywhere else. And, we have the right of the First Amendment, except no one else does. And if you try to say things we don't like, we're going to shut you down, destroy your life, and completely erase you off the internet and make sure that you have no employment. These are the people that they have promoted failing up in our society for the last 2 years. And now that they want to go to war, and they want to go to war against Russia, are they expecting these people to show up? It's like, hey, we supported Black Lives Matter and we gave them money, which they didn't do anything with, and they stole and they bought a bunch of fucking mansions. God, how could we have been so dumb? But keep listening to us, because we hear you. They don't hear you, you fucking idiots. In the meantime, the people that they keep saying that they hate and they despise and have white privilege and don't understand the real suffering in this country, those are the people who are going to end up being forced to go to war that they don't want to go, for people who have said for the last 2 years, we hate you, we don't understand you, you suck, there's too many of you, and, you're going to lose your job now because a person of color needs to be in your job. Because that's right, that's equal. Doesn't matter whether you're more qualified, you actually got an education, you put in the effort, you applied for the position when no one else did. That doesn't matter. You have to be replaced because our numbers don't look good. Those are the people who are going to end up going to war. And they're going to end up going to war. It's not going to be over there. It's when you show up to send them to go over there that they're going to say, no, fuck you. You haven't done shit for me in the last 2 years. You didn't do shit for me in 2008, 2009. You fucking bailed out the pieces of shit who caused that entire disaster, caused us to lose our homes, to lose our vehicles, lose our fucking jobs because nobody could get any financing to keep their businesses running. And then 10 years later, you're saying that we're fucking racist and pieces of shit. We did not forget, you dumb ass motherfuckers. We did not forget. And we're not going to forget, and we're not going to be feeling patriotic to go kill a bunch of fucking Russians because you can't get your shit together and your fucking crackhead son decided he was going to make all these illegal business deals for you, Mr. Biden, all in order to try to sell gas out from under Russia to Europe and profit from it. Because that's all the politicians do, is try to profit from their position. Why does AOC think that we should fucking bail out her student loan debt when she makes $170K a year? The bitch has a degree in economics and she can't figure out how to pay off her debt. $170K isn't enough for her. It's less than 10% of her income. Dumb ass. So yeah, I think what they're going to have is, I think they're going to try to install a draft. And I think that the numbers of people who don't show up when they're called is going to be astounding. I think that they're going to call upon local PD to try to round up these people. They're not going to want to do it because after the first couple cops end up getting shot trying to get these people to go overseas to shoot somebody else, they're just going to start saying, yeah, no, we're not doing this anymore. Kind of like the mortgage evictions that stopped happening after so many people were getting kicked out of their homes. The sheriff in Chicago was like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. This is ridiculous. We don't even have the manpower. Um, I think the federal government doesn't realize how screwed they are. Like, they literally handed over their power to a group of idiots who don't know what they're... Look at any speech from Kamala Harris recently. I swear to God, there's got to be like a can of Steel Reserve or something. Maybe a couple of 40s on Air Force Two. Because the stuff that's coming out of this woman, it's like time. And the passage of time is like, whoo, time is passing. And it's significant. The significance of the passage of time is significant. Oh, so that's about it. I'm sure there's other stuff that's going on. I don't really care at this point. Kids are still in the house, and I need to get in there and make sure that nobody's drawing on the walls or flushing my wallet down the toilet or... oh, God knows what else. Who knows? Maybe the dog is running rampant. But anyways, yeah. I have this weird feeling that the federal government has no idea what they're involved in. They have no idea what the hell's going on. $30 trillion in debt. We no longer have a standing army. We can't put together an army if we wanted to because of all the bullshit that they're promoting. We can't finance a war. Yeah, it's... and the sad thing is, people like me have seen this coming for over a decade. Over a decade this bullshit's been going on. And they just sit back and they're like, we can just spend more money. And that's not working very well. And yeah, here's the other thing I wanted to bring up. So Biden is now releasing, 1 million barrels of oil per day from the reserve. And by the time he's done, a third of it will be gone. The whole point of this reserve is that if we ever get invaded, the military has something to use in order to be operational, because our military, it's not run by Tesla batteries. It's not green energy. They're not going to the local donut shops wherever we invade and taking the oil and refining it to run it through a diesel. No, it runs on oil. Our entire fucking military runs on oil, and he's using that oil right now to try to cut gas prices, which didn't fucking work last time. We're still over $4 a gallon here. And that was after he dipped into the reserves. So it's almost like they're purposely bleeding our military and our security, our financial system dry. And you cannot be this incompetent in this world. I've seen businesses run this way and they all fucking suck. And they end up getting bailed out because, they've got the color ratio numbers or some shit, right? Like, oh, well, we'll cut this in taxes. And they're like, oh, thank God, because otherwise we go bankrupt. And then the same people that they hired because they weren't qualified are still running the businesses into the ground. But it's okay because, like, diversity, inclusivity, and equity, is that it? The whole die ratio, you put these 3 letters together and your company dies. That's what's happening with the federal government right now. And man, what I would do for a president who gets a blowjob right now, and Clinton was a piece of shit too, but good Lord, at least the balance, at least the budget was balanced. He was cutting down the military. We had less interaction going on. This was pre 9/11. So, yeah, we were in Somalia and things didn't go well. And, he was just like, yeah, let's just leave. So that was great. That set a great precedent. But, man, that's about it. I think my blood pressure's going up. Whew. Keep on typing.